Hey guys, Mike here, trying a new angle for this second channel. If you don't know me, I am Mike, maybe better known as Radio Mike or Podcast Mike. I spent my 20s working on some of the biggest radio shows and podcasts in Australia, and now I have a YouTube channel, a business, and this second channel where I'm just kind of like talking about my learnings and my thoughts on productivity and being 1% better every day, which is my mantra for 2025. And I guess like this stuff was motivated from like a lot of me trying to figure out like, why do I constantly feel scatterbrained? Why am I always struggling to like get stuff done? And I think maybe a lot of people would look at me and think like my career is really successful and all of that stuff, but I really struggle with a lot of those things like time management, and it always used to get me at work. So I really wanted to improve on that. In today's video, I'm talking about my iPhone and the way that I have set up my iPhone to try and be as distraction free and productivity pro as possible. So I'm going to put it up on the screen here. I'm going to use screen mirroring on my Mac, but like I'm going to be looking at it while I'm doing it as well. So through a lot of my reading on productivity, I've kind of learned that you want to make the stuff that you want to do easier to do, and you want to make the stuff you don't want to do harder to do. As well as that, you want to like eliminate any kind of friction from your life when you feel it. So I've tried to set up my phone, and I'm sure it will change, but I've tried to set it up with those kind of philosophies in mind, as well as like having a little bit of aesthetics in there as well. So here is my kind of lock screen. Obviously I have date and time, and then this is the Tokyo Tower as the wallpaper, mainly just because I love Japan. But also I've set up, and I'll show you this, I've set up so that at certain times of the day, my wallpaper changes based on the time of day. This is more just for like variety, kind of helps me feel refreshed during the day, but also just like the aesthetics of it. I think they look really, really cool. So I like to change them throughout the day. I have 4 widgets on my lock screen. The first one is the weather, just so I can quickly glimpse at what the weather is going to be. This second one here is my step, so I can quickly see how many steps I've done throughout the day. I'm trying to like walk predominantly during the day, like not drive. Like if I have to get somewhere, budget that time to walk into my day and figure out what I can get done in that walk. Because I want to hit my steps. The third one is just a battery thing. At the moment it's showing my phone, but it'll also show the battery of my watch or my AirPods, which is also helpful. And this one, which I'll talk about in another video, is a shortcut I've set up to search my Notion database. Notion is a note-taking software that's really elaborate, and basically at the moment I'm running my entire life on Notion. So I can quickly search for anything, and I'll do another video on how I'm running Notion later, but that's just a shortcut that gives me quick access to anything in my Notion. So when I unlock the phone, this is like my main page of apps. Realistically, these are just apps that I need kind of every day, but they're not super distracting for me. So at the top, obviously photos and camera, just in case. Google Maps, obviously just to get around, and my calendar at the top. Settings, and then Duolingo. Used to have Instagram there. I've replaced it with Duolingo. So the muscle memory will go to Instagram, but now it's Duolingo. And it just encourages me and reminds me to do my Japanese. I'm currently on a 102-day streak with that. App Store and WhatsApp for just communicating through in the day. eBay, I have a little side business or side hustle where I just flip stuff off eBay to make extra cash. So sometimes I'll just use that. YouTube is my primary like entertainment app. Like I am totally fine with watching long form videos. I hate any short form content. I don't have TikTok anymore. So YouTube is that for me. That's my entertainment. Discord for certain chats and groups I'm in. Outlook is all my email. And then of course, I've blacked this out, but this is my banking up there. Google Translate. Again, I have a friend who's a waitress at my local cafe, and she's Japanese. So we sometimes talk, and I'll sometimes write things in and translate. LinkedIn. Letterboxd is a movie tracking app. Pocket is a save it later for articles. So if you don't have time to read them, you save them to Pocket. I used to have YouTube Studio there, but I found I would just constantly be refreshing YouTube Studio throughout the day, and it would just be wasting time. Substack for reading different blogs for people I follow. Pocket Cast is my podcast app. Notion, of course. Then I have X, which surprisingly to me is the least distracting and least negative social media. Like I know a lot of people think X/Twitter is extremely distracting, but yeah, it's actually, I find it like really great for getting news and ideas and stuff like that. The next one is another banking app, which I've blurred out just for privacy, and then Messenger and New York Times Games. That's where TikTok used to be. Now I do that. Encourages me to do a little crossword, play some of the connections. That's a more useful way of using my brain than just like scrolling on TikTok for 5 minutes, right? Onto the second page, and this is my kind of media page where I can quickly access any media. These are all widgets, so this is a Pocket Cast widget. It remembers the podcast I'm listening to, and I can actually control it from the widget here by pressing this button, and that'll start the playback again. Mainly I just use this as a visual to remember what I was doing. This is an app called Prologue, which is an audiobook app that I use to manage all of my audiobooks. And as you can see, I've been listening to a bit of Harry Potter. I've been listening to a lot of Del Toro quests. I mainly use audiobooks for fiction, particularly fantasy, because sometimes when I go for a walk, I just want to blast some fantasy novels in my ears. And this makes it really easy to resume playback. I just tap on one of those. Down the bottom here, I have an iBooks widget. This will just open the book that I'm currently reading, which is The Anxious Generation. I will do a video reflecting on that later. And then my Spotify widget, which reminds me what I've been listening to. As you can see, I have been spinning a little bit of Green Day, which is awesome. Over to my next page. These are just more widgets for productivity. Of course, I've just got a snapshot view of all of my device batteries in the middle there. This is all of my Apple HomeKit shortcuts. So I've got access to all of my lights. I can turn all of the lights in the house on and off, which is really easy to do. And I can also control the inputs on my TV. So I can just go to watching TV for free to air. I can press PS5. It'll turn on my PS5 and get me ready for a gaming sesh. Apple TV turns the Apple TV on. And this one here, Good Night, just turns everything off and starts playing an audiobook because we fall asleep listening to Harry Potter because Stephen Fry is amazing. Down the bottom, I have a widget for Duolingo that reminds me to practice and shows my streak. I really don't want to lose that 103-day streak, so having that there is a big help. And down the bottom right is an app called Raise, which is a micro investing app. So I invest in the share market using various different platforms, and I have a few investments, but Raise is just more of a passive thing. It takes money out of your account based on rounding up, and basically keeps just investing in random shares and paying dividends. So I've blurred out the numbers just for privacy, but yeah, I've got Raise there. That is my entire home screen. Of course, down the bottom, I just have phone. I've got my messages. I've got Spotify because I'm always listening to music and stuff. And used to have Chrome in the bottom right, but I've actually recently switched to Brave only because it has a built-in ad blocker on iOS. Chrome, you cannot block ads on iOS as far as I could find, and it was just getting so frustrating. But Brave is built on Chromium, but it will block all ads on iOS. So I've made the swap to Brave. It uses all the same extensions and everything like that. So it's been really good. Also, if I swipe left, I have a bunch of other widgets here. Top left is the week's weather, just for another reference. I also have some more controls. I have a steps counter again, and some of this might be redundant and I might rejig it. I've then got my search Notion widget as well, in case I need to look something up on Notion, and a link to my Notion homepage. This is another shortcut I set up called Upload Receipt. Basically, when I buy something that's a business expense, I take a photo of it and then I just press this button and it will upload that receipt, and it'll automatically upload the last photo taken, i.e. the receipt, to a Dropbox folder full of receipts. These are my reminders. I will do a little bit about how I manage like tasks and to-do lists. One of the ways I do that is reminders, but I also use Notion, but that's just to quickly check that. And on the bottom right, I have a photos widget that has featured photos every day. At the moment, it's a photo of me, but usually it's just photos of like me and my partner. And it's just a nice little way to see the best parts of my life during the day, because we take a lot of photos on these things, but we never really look back on them. So I use that widget there. That is my entire home screen. That's how I'm doing it so far, and it's working pretty well for me. It's pretty good productivity. So I'm keen to know any productivity hacks, any shortcuts or automations you run. Like I run automations to change my watch face throughout the day based on different things I need in different places and different times, changing my wallpapers, turning on lights and stuff at certain times. I'm really enjoying it. So any iPhone hacks or iOS hacks that you want to share, leave them in the comments. Subscribe to this channel and my main channel. I'm just doing videos like this on this channel, mainly just as a hobby, but it seems like there is some interest in this content. So yeah, I'm happy to be posting it. Thank you so much. I will catch you later.